Hey everybody, this is Derek Smith, and I've had a number of people request that I shoot a quick little video regarding my the stand-up desk that I built and kind of how that works. So I wanted to do that real quick. You can see here it is in the raised up position, and so we've got about a 12-inch rise from the desktop, and then these are the aluminum braces that hold the upper and the lower upper desktop and the base together. So these are just going to pivot, and we'll see how the rising and lowering works here in a moment. So this is kind of the user point of view on the desktop. It has the keyboard drawer that comes out, and the particular drawer slides that I used actually have a little notch where I can bring it forward, and that's going to keep it from sliding in and out. So that's actually kind of nice. One thing that I sort of dealt with after the fact is that this height of this support for the desktop didn't give me enough clearance here. This is a 2-inch height, and so I only have about a little over 1 inch of clearance here for the keyboard. So I was fortunate enough to find a kind of low profile keyboard that actually fits there, but you can see that the mouse is too tall to fit when the drawer slides back in. So you know, a little bit after the fact, didn't anticipate that well when I was planning out the dimensions of this. But again, it's easy enough to just kind of rotate the mouse up there and then slide the drawer back in. The other thing that I have, you'll see, is this second monitor is actually mounted using a monitor mount that's clamped to the desktop here. And so I had the fortunate luck that if we go underneath here, you can kind of see the clamping mechanism, and that happened to not interfere with any of the other workings of the desktop rising and lowering. So again, I think I kind of lucked out there, but that way, you know, this monitor is pretty fixed in place. The other thing I do when I use my laptop here, again, in order to kind of bring the two monitors up to the same eye level, I just use a cardboard box to set the laptop on top of, and that makes it a little bit easier to have the two monitors even with each other. So let's take a quick look at the operation of the rising and the lowering. So let me show you how the desk operates to kind of rise and lower. You can see, again, it's in the upper position. And one thing I will mention is that right now the base is not actually attached to this little bookcase that it's sitting on. So we will see a little bit of sliding that's happening. Certainly, if you were to clamp it down or otherwise attach it to the desktop, then you'd have a little bit smoother operation because the base won't slide around. But the first thing we have to do to lower it is, you can kind of see over here, we've got a small little retention pin that goes through and just kind of locks this brace in place. This little pin is just a recycled little Allen key from, I think it came from a piece of furniture from IKEA, but it's just big enough to kind of sit behind the pin and hold it in place. I have another one on this side, so I'll go ahead and remove it. And then you can see that the desk is just going to kind of rotate down and sit down onto the base. And so again, if the base was clamped, you'd have a little bit smoother operation there. But now that it's lower, the keyboard drawer can come out. I still can use the keyboard here if I was sitting in a chair, or I could actually just bring the keyboard down onto the desktop as well. One thing that I do like about the design that turned out is this height gives me plenty of room underneath here. I actually have a power strip and a USB hub and the power supply for my laptop all fit underneath here. So they're easy to get to, and that actually worked out pretty well. So to raise it back up then, again, I'm going to stand up to do this, but you just sort of lift and bring it forward. And I do have a small stop block that's in the base here to keep it from coming forward too far. But then once you have it in place, then we'll just put the pin back in to lock it. Put this on the other side, and then that holds it in place there. So one thing that I did not do, but you could do, is have additional holes for the pin at different angles of the braces, so that way you would have different elevations that you could do. But for my purposes, I just needed it to be either up or down. So, but you could figure out kind of where along the way that the pin can go. The other thing I've seen on some of the commercial designs is they actually have a bar that comes across to connect the two sides to keep it from kind of wobbling independent of one another. But again, that was not necessary for my purposes as well. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I appreciate everyone checking out the blog. If you do have other questions about any of the construction, feel free to contact me, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.